Welcome back to another episode of the Fish and Coach Show. My name is Brandon. This is Coach Ratner, and I'm so excited about today's topic.
I know, it's awesome.
It's so important. The secret to success. Coach, the secret?
There is one secret that you have to have in order to be successful. And by the way, we're going to get to it at the end of this podcast. But first, we have to define what it means to be successful.
Wow. Yeah, what does it mean to be successful?
Seriously, because you could become successful and not realize it because you don't know what it means to be successful, and you're living your whole life saying, I'm not successful, when you are successful. So I have 4 questions that I came up with that I think can determine, if you ask yourself, can help you determine whether or not you're successful. You ready?
I'm ready.
Question number 1. Would my children or my parents or my friends be proud of how I live my life? Good question, right?
That's a great question.
Number 2, would the world be a better place with me or without me?
Okay, another great question.
Am I changing the world? Number 3, what do I want people to say at my funeral?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a deep one, right?
Yeah.
And did I lead, number 4 is, did I lead a meaningful life? Because in the end, that's all that really matters.
Wow. And what does that mean in particular?
What?
To live a life of meaning.
Well, how this whole idea came up is I had a friend of mine who became very successful. He started a software business, was making a lot of money, but he was older in his years, and he wasn't married, had no children. He really wanted to be married. And someone said, oh, yeah, I heard that guy, so-and-so, that he's really successful. It got me thinking, what does it mean to be successful? He has a lot of money, built a successful business. That financial part is success, but he really wanted to be married. So he's going his whole life being lonely, not having one to share his life with. And so he's going to go to his funeral and people will say, yeah, he was successful in business, no kids, no wife, does that mean you're successful? Because most of the time when we define success, what is the default thing that people think of?
I would say financial success.
It's usually financial success because no one thinks of I want to leave the world a better place. I want people to be proud of me because of my children. I left great children in the world. I did a lot of great things in the world, and I think that's more important than just money. Now, money can be certainly part of it. What you've done with your life as far as a business, people say, was Steve Jobs successful? Well, yes, he developed the most amazing device we have in the world, the iPhone, but I'm not sure that was he even married?
He was married.
He was married. Actually, I don't even know. I'm not even sure.
I don't know enough to comment.
Yeah, I heard there were some family issues there, so I don't know. He's successful in one area, but maybe not in another area. So there's a famous story about the Reichman family. You heard this story about the Reichman family?
No, what is the story?
So the story is he was a billionaire, and he had real estate all over the world and billions of dollars. And when he died, I think he was living in England. And when he died, he left in his will, he said, I want you to bury me with my socks on.
With the socks on.
With the socks on. And you think that's a weird request. And so the problem was, since he was Jewish, there is a law that you can't be buried except with the shroud and no clothing whatsoever. Oh. And so the family said, we want to bury the socks on, but all the rabbis in charge said, we can't do it. And so they buried him without a socks on. They went against his will. And so you know what happened?
What happened?
So at 30 days later, when they actually read the entire will, they only read part of it beforehand. I guess it was his last things he wanted people to do when he died, but his actual will they read 30 days later, and it said, by now you have buried me, and I assume that you have buried me without my socks.
Oh, wow.
And he said, I want you to learn a very important lesson with this. He goes, I have real estate throughout the world. I have the biggest houses, properties, buildings, everything a man could ever want, but I can't even take my socks with me.
Wow, that is so interesting.
That's pretty deep, isn't it? Now, we think that we're building up these items, and these cars, and these houses, and this money in our checkbooks, but in the end, you can't take anything with you.
The socks are staying behind.
The socks there's only 2 things that we can leave in this world, and that's the deeds that we did in this world, our positive deeds that we've done, and if we happen to have children, how our children are interacting.
The legacy.
The legacy of our children. Sure. Are they good kids? Are they bad kids? Are they trying to make the world a better place? And that's our legacy. There's only 2 things you can leave. Obviously, you can leave money to charity, which I hope you do. One of the worst things that people ever do.
But that money's not going to the grave with you.
Money's not going to the grave with you. You can have a nicer casket, right? If you really want to, you can have a gold casket. That's really going to do a lot of good.
Not if you're Jewish.
When you're getting eaten by worms, right? Right. It's not going to. Right. You can if you're Jewish. Jewish people have to be buried.
It has to be wood.
A pine casket. Actually,
nothing in Israel.
I think in Israel they actually just put you in a cloth bag and stick you in the ground.
Yeah.
That same day, they don't even wait. there's an idea that you have to be married as soon as you die, and they don't wait. If you die at 2 p.m., you're buried by 5 p.m.
So nothing is coming with just like that.
Just like that, you're
You
back
had
in the
everything,
ground.
and now you have nothing.
That's right. And we think that everything that we have is so important. We have to have our honor and our money. But in the end, meaning is the most important thing. Wow. Do you realize that before you're even born, that God probably has this notebook on you with all the things you've accomplished in life? Do you know that? And can you imagine when you die and you go to heaven and you read your notebook? How do you think you're going to feel when you read your notebook and you realize that you could have done so much in life, yet you accomplished maybe not a teensy bit of what you could have done?
That is something to think about.
You don't want to do
Can you
that.
imagine? You don't want to know what
you
your
want to know that
potential was.
your potential was humongous, except you wasted it worrying about things that were maybe meaningless in life. Maybe worried, not to say meaningless, but like maybe worried about like the score of the baseball game, or if your shoes were clean, or if your grass was cut the perfect way, or if you got every single leaf off your lawn. Like things that we think that are important, really in the end are kind of meaningless.
Right. I think there's a story about that. I believe it's Zeus's story, that someone asked him, "Are you worried that you're going to be compared to the greatest people of all time?" It's Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they asked him, and he said, "No, I'm much more worried that they're going to be comparing me to myself."
That's right.
Right?
Were you
It's
being
that journal.
Zusha being Zeus? Were you reaching the potential you had in life? So the secret of our success is not just wealth; it's how we live our life with meaning and purpose. And again, what do you want people to say at your funeral?
And it's individualized for ourselves. Not were you the best Steve Jobs out
Right,
there.
right.
Why weren't you as big as these other people?
Right. Yeah, don't compare yourself to some of the big business people in the world that we read about. Elon Musk and things like they should be judged to themselves. We shouldn't be judged to them.
And it's all proportionate.
Yeah, no one ever said on their deathbed, "You know what? I really wish I worked more hours." Do you ever hear that? Do you ever hear someone like dying like, "I really wish I spent more time at the office.
Took that extra deal."
I wish I didn't have so many kids. I wish I didn't. No one ever says that.
Right.
There's only, we need to create our own definition of success, because if we don't do it, somebody else is.
Wow. Fascinating.
Right?
Right?
It is, because if we don't prioritize our life, if we don't decide what's important in our life, someone else is going to figure it out for you. And you don't want that. You don't be one of these people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s saying, "What did I do with my life? What was the meaning of my life? What was the purpose of my life? Just to make money to pay my bills?" Of course, that is important. There's no question. But we can look on a very famous person who decided that his name, Alfred Noble. He was.
Oh, that's a great example.
He invented the Nobel Peace Prize.
Right.
He founded the Nobel Peace Prize. And what happened? It's an interesting story that his brother, I think it was Ludwig Noble, had died, and newspapers, believe it or not, they have obituaries already prepared for like almost every famous person in the world, especially if they're like older in their 60s and 70s. They're ready to go. So when they die, they can just, they have them ready to print. So
it's kind of depressing.
It is kind of
Wow.
funny. Can you imagine? This is the truth.
Like yours might be already written.
They published the wrong obituary.
So what did it say?
They published Alfred Noble's obituary, and he was still alive. Can you believe that?
And it was very interesting because Alfred Noble at the time, his biggest accomplishment was inventing dynamite.
Dynamite. He was known as I believe, the master of death. Now, he probably invented dynamite to do good in the world, like to build roads and bridges and to take down mountains for passes to go through.
Sure.
But what did dynamite get used for mostly in the earliest 19th century?
It was used for a lot of
20th century. It was used for war. The First World War, dynamite was used to maim and kill a lot of people. So he was known as the master of death, and he read his obituary and decided he did not want to live his life like this. He did not want to die known as the inventor of dynamite.
Right.
So he decided to start the Nobel Peace Prize.
So definitely a better thing to be known for.
It's definitely better. So now, of course, 120 years later, we're still giving it. Now, of course, some of the people who won the Nobel Peace Prize, you have to kind of question, like, really? Come on, just whatever. I'm not going to get into that. It gets kind of political, but whatever. He meant, and I'm sure most of the time it's been done for good.
Oh yeah.
So there's another idea that we've learned, studying some of the things that we studied, that who is rich? One who is happy with what he has in life. This is an ancient saying that's been going around for thousands of years. Who is someone who is happy, who is rich, someone who is happy with what they have in life. which means wherever you have, whatever car you have, whatever house you have, you should be happy with what you have. Because when you are always desiring more, when you're always wanting more things, you're never going to be happy. When you want the fanciest car, when you want to go to the newest restaurant, the famous chef, when you want the new fashion items from the latest store, you're always, every year, you need to upgrade your toys because you're never going to be happy.
Coach, I just came up with something that you're going to love.
Okay.
Okay? Tools, not jewels. We need to collect. We always want the next flashy thing. We always want the newer car. We'll be happy when we get this new car. We'll be happy when we go to this travel. What we really need in life are the tools to succeed,
right.
the tools to make us successful. That's what really brings happiness because it enables us to find that happiness and be happy with what we have.
Right.
Tools, not jewels.
Tools, not jewels. That's a cool. I've never heard that one.
Thank you. I made it up the other day.
I have to make a one up with bling because I like, I like the word bling. I have to come up with a rhyme for that.
We'll think of something.
We will. So, what you think will make you happy at one age, as you get older, will not make you as happy. Like if you're 22 years old and you have a good job and making money, you think, I'm successful. I'm making, $125,000 a year. I have a good job. I'm halfway decent looking. I got some guns on me. The girls like me. I'm talking as a guy. And so you think you're successful. But when you're 55 years old doing the same thing, you're not going to have the same feeling that you're successful in life.
Oh,
right?
yeah. No way.
Right. So as you get older, you need more meaning. This is a generalization, but generally, unless you really have low self-esteem, you need more meaning and purpose in life as you get older. And things like the fancy cars and houses, that meaning goes less and less. So,
that makes sense.
Right. But when we're young, that's the only thing we can grasp onto because we're not wise enough to know that there's more things in life than just the physical world. So what you think might make you happy at one age, like the big house and the big bank account, you might not be happy as you age.
That makes sense. And you need more and more and more and more unless you start to get your priorities in order of success.
Right. So I have one fear.
Okay.
And people wonder, like, thank God I've just finished writing my 4th book.
Yeah, congratulations.
And thank you so much. It's coming out very soon, sometime early 2022. And and now we're doing this podcast, and I teach I used to teach all the world before Corona, but I teach at many different places, and I have a lot of energy. I get a lot of energy out of teaching and bringing people wisdom. It's so funny because we have videos on, obviously, the Fish and Coach show, and one guy said, quoted like, "Oh, it's a scam." I'm like, "What's a scam? Like, what am I? I don't want anything. I don't want your money. I don't want anything. I don't want you can subscribe, but it's free. It's not like you're getting paying for the subscription to watch us.
Yeah.
This is all free. I'm not charging you. I don't want your money. Even if I come to talk in your community, I don't want any money. Maybe I want some money for the travel expenses and stuff. My books, I give, when people come to my house or I see them, I just give my books away. I mean, yeah, you can buy them on Amazon if you want to, but like
you should buy the books.
You should have them. Score. The last one is called Score. I use the acronym of my Coach Ratner. My first 3 books are under my name, Daniel Ratner. But I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because it gives me pleasure. I love helping people. It gives me meaning and purpose in life. And to me, that's more important. Now, obviously, if I've had problems paying my bills, I'd be more focused on making the money.
Right.
But thank God I was successful in the coin business and the rare coin business, and I'm able to pay my bills. So because of that, now I want to do something that brings me meaning and purpose in life. So my biggest fear is?
What's the biggest fear?
My biggest fear is that when I die, I'm going to go to heaven, and standing there will be my neighbor, standing with a baseball bat about to smack me on the top of my head, telling me, why don't you teach me all this wisdom? Why don't you, I'm your neighbor. I saw you twice a week. You never taught me anything. Why didn't you teach me things? Why didn't you tell me about life and how much potential I had in life and that I could become successful and I'm a success in life? I didn't even really know it because I didn't know the 4 questions what it meant to be successful. And I was successful, and I spent my whole life, being depressed, being bummed out about my life.
If you're Coach Ratner's neighbor and you're listening to this, make sure you push that subscribe button so that you can save this from happening.
Yeah. So that's my fear. So I try to get as much stuff out there that I can, obviously with these podcasts and the books. And I want to teach people. I want to make people passionate. I want to make people happy. And this is what I'm doing. And of course, it's not a scam because I don't want a scam means I'm trying to get something from you. And I don't want anything from you.
This is all for you. This is for your benefit, to help your friends, and to spread a little bit of this knowledge into the world.
That's correct. Okay. So we're getting to the point now that we have to get to the secret and the one secret it means to be successful. Or actually, how to become successful. What it means to become a success. There's one idea you need to know. You want to know what that is?
Yes, absolutely.
Tune in next time. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, this is the key. And I learned this from a mentor of mine, Rabbi Stephen Bars. He lives in the D.C. area. And he said to me, and he's got videos on this thing, and he said to me, he goes, people don't succeed because they're motivated. People are motivated because they know they're going to succeed. I'm going to say this again because it's a little.
Say that again.
And I'll explain it. People don't succeed because they're motivated. They're motivated because they know they're going to succeed, which means if you know you're going to be a success in any endeavor you do, guess what? You're going to do it, and you're going to be motivated to do it, and there's nothing going to stop you from achieving because you know you're going to succeed.
Wow, that makes sense.
Let me give you an idea that he mentioned.
Yeah.
He mentioned an idea about if I could tell you, let me see if I can give this over well enough. If there is a 7-Eleven in Arizona that was going to give away the winning lottery number for $1 billion, and you had to be there on, in 2 weeks at 5 a.m., would you go?
Yeah, you'd go.
You'd go.
Sure.
And you're the one who knows. Of course, you're going to go. You win $1 billion. But what if I told you you had to roller skate there from Denver?
It would be a little bit of a challenge.
But you do it, right?
You'd probably figure out how to do it.
Okay, what if I told you that a million people are being given the same offer, and the first person that gets there at 5 a.m. gets the winning lottery tickets? Are you going to go or not?
Wow, that would be interesting.
Now you might not go, right?
You might not go.
I'm not going to roller skate from Denver to Arizona with a 1 in a million shot that I have a shot that I can do it. Right. So you're not going to. Many people would not. I probably wouldn't go. Even $1 billion. Now, of course, there will be some people that go, and someone's going to win it. So the idea I'm trying to tell you is that if you don't know you're going to succeed, you're not going to try. But if you keep going, and maybe this offer is done every single year, eventually you might win.
You know, the best example of this is Groundhog Day.
Yes.
Right? Where he was living the same story every time, and he knew exactly where everything was going to happen when the coffee was going to be spilled.
That was a great movie.
Great movie. And what it's showing is this. It's this idea that he knows he could succeed if he plays the cards exactly right. He might miss a day or mess up a day.
It's a fear. It's our fear of failing that keeps us from trying to become successful. It's our fear of like whatever we have, that if we try something, people make fun of me. I'm not going to be able to do it. There's already a patent on it. Someone else smarter is doing it. Google already has it. And we have this fear that if we try something, we're not going to succeed. But you don't understand the thing about if you know you're going to succeed, you get energy, you get motivation, you get the attitude and the willingness to keep trying because you know you're going to succeed. And you might not succeed this time, but eventually you're going to. It's like flipping a coin, heads or tails.
As soon as you find out it's possible, you don't know when you're going to succeed. We don't have that you have to be here at 9 o'clock a.m. But we know that if you keep trying, you will be successful long term.
And the thing is, what you ventured out on to become successful with might not be what happens in the end. It could be something totally different. I have a chapter in my books called Find Your Awesome. The book's called Find Your Awesome. And the chapter's called Always Be Moving Forward, because you have no idea wherever you're trying is going to lead you to.
As long as you're going in a direction.
As long as you're moving forward and you're going. I had this idea. I love this concept that if you're sitting at a stoplight and there's 3 lanes of cars and there's, let's say in like a half mile you have to make a right-hand turn to go into the highway, and there's 10 cars on the right, 10 cars in the middle, and 3 cars on the left. Which lane do you get in? And you have to make a right in like half a mile. Many people just get in the right-hand lane behind the 10 cars and not go to the left lane with 3 cars. That's not how I work my life.
Nope, you take
I go to the left-hand lane, and I said, how can I get through this light the fastest way? I am not worried about obviously if it's like 10 feet, you have to get in the right. You have no choice. But if you have time, somehow things always open up. I get in the left lane. I get through the light. Maybe 8 or 7 of those cars in the right lane didn't get through, but I'm through the light. Now I can manage to go to the right-hand lane to take my extra
I think
highway.
a little bit of excitement is released every car you pass.
It's very
road,
exciting,
right?
actually, to live life. Now, I'm not saying you should drive recklessly, but I'm always saying and that's how I live my life. How can I get through the light the fastest? How can I get to my destination the quickest possible way? And maybe where I end up is not where I expected, but it's be somewhere better than standing still and not trying.
That's a success. That's what a success is.
That's what it means with it. Just keep moving forward. And if you know you're going to succeed, you're going to keep going. Because winners never quit and quitters never win.
There you go. The secret to success. just be moving forward.
That's right.
If you say you can't, you're right. If you say you can, you're also right.
That's correct.
Now go for it and unleash your success. Go live a meaningful life. Thank you for listening to the Fish and Coach Show.
I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching the Fish and Coach Show.
If you like what you just watched, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment with any ideas you'd like to see on any future episodes.
We'll see you next time.